What's up, guys? It's Kevin here, the Migraine Guy, back with another video in the What You Can Expect Doctors to Say series. I don't know if that's the official title or not, but it's pretty descriptive of what I want these videos to talk about. Today's video is going to be about what you can expect if you go to the emergency room because of the intensity of your migraine. Uh, when it occurred for me last summer, it was it was a Saturday afternoon, I think, and I was just like on a scale from 1 to 10 on pain and intensity. This migraine had gone from like a 5 to a 10 in just about an hour. I took a Triptin, two Triptins I think I was allowed to take, and I took them hoping that, I hate Triptins, but I was hoping that it was going to stop the migraine. I took it about like when the migraine was at 7, and I was hoping it was going to stop it from progressing, and it just didn't. This thing was intense, and I tried to wait it out as long as possible. It was Saturday. I didn't know what I was going to do. Even if I could go to my doctor, what's my doctor going to do? They've already given me some medications. They're just not working. So it's just kind of one of those crappy circumstances people who get migraines find themselves in, where you're just stuck, right? You're just in your dark, cool room, which is where I was, and you're just waiting for it to go away. And it got to the point where I just couldn't take it. I just couldn't. I needed something to change, and so I told my wife. I was like, I think I need to go to the emergency room, which is a scary sentence to say to someone who cares about you, right? Because they feel bad about the migraine that's going on, but now you've like said something that maybe you've never said before. I need to go to an emergency room. It's pretty weird to say. So you go. So what happens when you go to the emergency room? Maybe you don't want all that backstory, you just want the information. So what happens when you get to the emergency room? You get to the emergency room and you check in, you explain to the receptionist or whomever, I'm here because of X. Thankfully, when I went, there wasn't a long list of people needing to get in, so I was able to get in pretty quickly. And so you go into just your standard kind of hospital room, but it's important to do a few things. That's why I wanted to make this video. It's important to do a few things. You're going to get probably a couple nurses that come in before the actual doctor comes in, and they're going to do a variety of things. Maybe they're going to check your blood pressure. They're going to get kind of some medical history on you, ask for your insurance card perhaps or something like that. But here's the odd thing. When I went, they wanted to put an IV in me. Just automatic. It was just like default. Patient in, put IV in them. And that, I was already kind of in a real crappy, angry mood because of the migraine. And so I think I was just being hypercritical of anything anybody was doing. But I just immediately was like, no, you're not doing anything to me until I talk to the doctor. One, because I didn't understand why giving someone who said they have a migraine an IV was somehow helpful. Perhaps I could have been dehydrated and the IV would have helped, but they didn't ask me if I had had enough water throughout the day, etc. They just assumed by default, oh, new patient, put IV in. So I immediately became skeptical of everything that they were going to say to me, and I didn't want to get charged for anything that I didn't need to get charged for. I was there for a solution to a migraine that was so intense I felt like I needed emergency help. And if it wasn't explained to me how an IV was going to do that, I didn't want the IV. I'm also really cheap, so that's part of my motivation. So then they wanted to take my blood pressure and stuff, and I said, well, can I just talk to the doctor first and find out what's the procedure when someone comes into the ER with a migraine, what to do? And so they were a little bothered. You could tell that it was, atypical of me to be like, man, I'm gonna ask questions and not trust you. And it's not that I didn't want to trust them, it's just that I didn't want to just come home with a $600 bill for nothing. So the doctor eventually came in and asked me, what are your symptoms? I told them. They said, have you seen a doctor about migraines? I have. What medications did they prescribe? This, that, and that. Okay, that took about 1:30. And the doctor said, well, we can do two things for you. I just asked her point blank. I said, what are the options? Like, what can you do for me? And she said, well, there's two options. One, we can get a CT scan of your brain. Not that that's going to help with your migraine now, but you could take it back to your doctor if you haven't had a CT scan yet. So there's that option. And then also they said that they would give me just, cocktail, morphine or whatever in a drip bag and let it go into me, and I would check out mentally for a bit, and then I would go home. So basically, they were just going to anesthetize me, which, if you're in a horrible amount of pain, might be the only solution that you can have. Uh, uh, so that's what you could probably. That's I'm trying to figure out which way to go now. That's what you should expect if you go to the ER, is that they're going to maybe do some stuff you don't need, like give you just a general IV, and then they're going to offer a CT scan and a nice morphine drip or something. Because if you're at the ER, that's probably the only solution is, high level anesthesia. Um, if you're interested in the story, ended up just becoming really kind of argumentative with them and like questioning I was just in a bad mood, so I was like picking apart sentence structure and asking why they used words that they did. Uh, my wife said it was pretty funny. Um, uh, anyway, I ended up going home without any medication. For some reason, like getting into disagreement with other people, like helped reduce like my awareness maybe of just the pain that I was in. So it felt like I was getting a little better, like the migraine was starting to go away. Uh, and honestly, I just told the doctor, I was like, if all you can do is give me a bag full of pain medication, then I'm just going to go home and have some whiskey, right? Like, I don't know what I expected at the ER other than those two options, the scan and the medication, but actually just being confronted with those as the two options, I was just like, well, I will just go home and have some whiskey then. This seems pointless. So maybe I was being mildly irrational, but I think I had some just cause. Um, so yeah, you go to the ER, you have the scan option and the drug option. Uh, a couple weeks later, the hospital tried to bill me, I think it was $638 for that visit, to which I almost lost my mind over. And called them up, challenged it, of course, asked them how in the world did they justify $638 for a 2-minute talk with a doctor. They didn't even take my blood pressure, right? Like, I didn't let them do anything to avoid any potential charges. And the customer service rep that I talked to on the phone was very kind, very polite, very understanding. He said, "Oh yeah, that does sound really weird. Let me post it as like being challenged or something." And thankfully, the bill just went away. They didn't get any money out of me. But it was interesting, right? Just from like you go to an emergency room and you're like in a very vulnerable position, right? You're there because there's something so wrong with you that you can't wait. You can't put off getting it addressed. So you're there under duress, right? And then when they don't do anything, they try to send you a $640 bill. It was just so upsetting. And this is supposed to be like what is it? CHS is the overall medical system that this hospital's affiliated with, Catholic Health Services or something like that, hospital services. And so I was just like, is this like Catholic organization really trying to milk a grad student for $640 for nothing? They didn't do anything for me. So upsetting. But I fought it, and I ended up paying nothing. So suck it, Catholics. I don't know what that meant. I like the Pope. Anyway, so yeah, that's what you can expect when you go to the ER. Be critical, be maybe a little combative if you have to. No sense in paying extra for services that you don't need. And you should go into the hospital knowing that those are really the only two things that they can do for you, is give you some drugs and take a scan. So if you're in a bad enough position where some morphine or something is the only solution, go for it. But if you can at all wait for it, you'll definitely save yourself some money. So that's it, guys. Catch you later.